Jesus, He will carry you through. Ask the Savior to help you, comfort, strengthen, and keep you. He is willing to aid you. He will carry you through. To Him will come, God give us a crown. The victory will conquer, though often condemned. He is our Savior, our strength will renew. Long ever to Jesus, He will carry you through. Ask the Savior to help you, comfort, strengthen, and keep you. He is willing to aid you. He will carry you through.
Amen. Ronnie, appreciate that. All right, number 146. 146. My shepherd will supply my need. Why don't we stand once more? 146. This is an old song, goes way back to 1700s or so. So this is an old one, but it's right out of Psalm 23. My shepherd will supply my needs. Jehovah is his name. This is a great one. Let's sing it together. 146. My shepherd will supply my need. Jehovah is his name. In pastures fresh, he makes me free. Beside the living stream, he brings my wandering spirit back when I forsake his ways, and leads me for his mercy's sake, and paths of truth and grace. When I walk through the shades of death, thy presence is my stay. One word of thy supporting grace drives all my fears away. His hand in sight of all my foes does still my table spread. My cup with blessings overflows. His oil anoints my head. Last verse, look at the words. As you sing last verse. The sure provisions of my God attend me all my days. Oh, may thine house be mine abode, and all thy work be praised. There would I find a settled rest, while others go and come. Look at this. No more a stranger Amen. All right, we've got a couple of things just to get announcement-wise out of the way before we cut the kids loose. Let's see, I think I got some things up here. Real quick, we'll start right here. Tonight, we're going to be doing kind of a little break. We finished our foundation series, going through our discipleship class. And so we're going to, here in a couple of weeks, we're going to flip-flop our series we're going through. Sunday nights, we'll continue through the book of Judges, and then Sunday mornings, we'll be in the book of Matthew. We'll talk about that in a minute. So tonight, we're kind of in between. We're going to do just a quick lesson in equipping for evangelism. That's one of our kind of the three major kind of values that we hold here as a church. We glorify God by evangelizing the lost and equipping the saints with the goal of Christ-likeness. And so equipping, we talked about evangelism a little bit last week. And tonight, I don't do this often, but we have a video message that is actually pretty old. It's been around. As a man named Ray Comfort. He has preached this message over 1,000 times. It's been put in a little bit different format that we're going to see tonight, but it's specifically on sharing your faith. Many of you have used these tracts that look like, I only have this one up here, but there's several of the tracts that we use at a church, the $1 million bill tracts. Some of you know those are really easy to pass out. Some people don't need bucks. They're not really bucks. Actually, the way our economy is going, it may be worth about as much as paper. I don't know. Anyway, no. So that's the same group that puts this message together. And so, if you've ever struggled with sharing your faith, or if you're a pro at it, this would help you. And I think it'll be very helpful, very, very practical. So we'll be looking at that tonight at 6 o'clock. That'll be our evening message. And then, as I said, Sunday morning, starting on the 20th, we're going to be going through the book of Matthew. And we're going to call it Thy Kingdom Come. It's a series through the book of Matthew. And I'm really looking forward to going through a gospel. We've been through the book of Mark. That was when I first came here, which is coming on 6 years ago. And so we're going to go through the book of Matthew, specifically focusing, the book focuses on the kingdom of God and how that works. And so we're going to work through that a little bit. It'll take us a while, but that's what we're doing. So I think it'll be a real help to you. And that will start on Sunday mornings on the 20th. Okay, and so just as a little bit of a schedule change, we've kind of prepared you for this, but for the next 2 Wednesday nights, we will not be having Wednesday night church. For the next 2 weeks, our family is going to be out of town, taking a little break and just a little vacation for the summer. I know there's different ones that have been in and out at different times, so we're going to do that too. Next Sunday, Brother Denson, not Aaron Denson, the pastor at Arden Road, but his dad is going to be filling in for me, and so he will be here. Everything Sunday will go as normally planned, normal times and everything else. But Brother Denson will be in my place there, and so I know that'll be a blessing to you all there. So those are the things that are coming up. We'll be back in town for that next week, which will be the 20th, Father's Day, and we're looking forward to having a good time together on that as well. And then our midweek services will resume there. All right? Hopefully that makes sense. It's in your bulletin there if you need to reference that. And so we appreciate your prayers as we take a little trip. We're going to go up to see Heather's folks in Missouri and maybe just take our time up there and back, and I'm looking forward to having some time with them. One other thing before we let the kids go, we usually mention our missionaries on Wednesday nights, but this is very timely. We got an email Friday from the Martinez family. These are our church planters in Boulder, Colorado. Remember, they're starting a church in Colorado. So tonight at 5 o'clock, they will be doing their very first Bible study. And so they're in Boulder. They've got a place to meet. And so they sent a letter for that, and they're asking specifically that folks would just pray over the weekend for that time as they start. They're starting. I mean, there's no church. There are churches in Boulder, of course, but they're not taking over one. They're just starting. And so they've invited folks. There's been several churches that have gone out to help them. That they're going to start with the Bible study on Sunday evening. tonight at 5 o'clock their time, which is Mountain Time. So that's like 4 o'clock our time. No, 6 o'clock our time. Around the time that we'll meet for church. So as you think about it through the day, as the Lord brings them to mind, just pray for them. And we're hoping to see great things there in Boulder, Colorado. All right, well, let's let the kids go. And we appreciate all the help that came in, that was invested with Vacation Bible School. Kids had a great time. The guys enjoyed it, and we had the group from Heartland come down. And thank you to everyone who brought food for them and for the kids and everything else. It's really you can't do VBS with just a couple of people. You've got to have everybody help in different ways. And boy, it's a blessing to be able to do that. We made a couple of notes for next year. If you helped out and I didn't get to you and say, hey, what would you change for next year? And you say, oh, I've got a list. Well, give me your list. I want to know. We usually don't think about this stuff until, like, VBS is getting started. Like, there's things we were going to change. What were they? I don't remember. And about halfway through, we remember. Oh, that was one. Yeah. So I think one thing we learned is we're going to have some helpers in the back bathroom. I think we had some exciting contests to see how much toilet paper we could flush down there at a time. That was not part of the competition. I think we did this misunderstood. So we may have some officials in there during that time. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. But had a great time, and we appreciate everybody that helped out there for sure. Okay, let's get our Bibles and go to Judges chapter 6. Book of Judges chapter 6. And we're going through this messy people, faithful God. And the book of Judges is just one crazy story after another. It's like the National Enquirer. It's like, what are they going to come up with next? Except these are true. Okay, these are real stories that actually happened. And even though they're at tabloid level, we see not only the people getting worse and worse and worse, but about the time that you would think, won't God just cut them off and just start over with somebody? He does not. He is faithful. His jealous love for his people is just flamed not against them, but really for them as he brings in correction and gets them back on track. And we're not even there yet. I mean, just so many things, one after another. So we're going to introduce the man named Gideon. This is one that we'll be a little bit more familiar with. And Gideon's story, his story is very long. We have more verses about Gideon than anyone else. We know a lot of the story that we're going to look at today, and then when we return, the next one. But Gideon really turned really weird towards the end, and we'll get into that. And so we're going to take a few sermons to look at Gideon, and today's text is quite long. And so we're just going to look at the first 6 verses. And so if you found your place in Judges chapter 6, if you'll stand with me. And Justin, I think I have all the verses, but we'll just do the first 6 and then we'll just skip it. Okay, so Judges chapter 6, beginning in verse 1. All right? And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord,